Hello, and welcome to the Bel-E and Scratch podcast. I am your host, Bel-E.
And I'm your co-host, Scratch.
And today, yesterday... Well, here's the thing. We don't usually cover sports on this podcast.
Not as a rule, no.
No, it's not...
We're not anti-sport.
We're not anti-sports. I'm not a big fan of a lot of sports. I mean, I can stand to watch a curling match, one or two of them, because for me, it's one of the simplest of all the sports, quote-unquote sports.
Cake bake-offs piss me off. So.
Yeah, I know. It's because it's just a complete clash of ego and personality, and it's like, guys,
and
just
white flour.
And white flour. It's like, guys, just make the damn cake.
White flour.
Ugh. So, anyway, so mostly you. I only caught the tail end of it because, again, I'm not a sports person, but there was a college ball game last night. It was Alabama and Tennessee.
Yes.
And according to what you told me, Tennessee had not won a game against Alabama in about 15 years.
Exactly 15
Exactly 15 years. Okay.
Same conference.
Mm-hmm.
Driving distance between the schools.
Yeah.
An old school rivalry.
Oh, yeah.
SEC, Southeast.
Yeah, all that fun stuff. Tribalism. Oh, yeah, of course.
Alabama, Tennessee. Same people, but they're different.
Yeah, exactly.
Same but different. Yeah.
Same but different. Yeah, exactly how it all usually goes. Well, I couldn't help but notice during my occasional looking at the TV. I kept noticing every time I looked at the TV at the game you and the matriarch were watching, they were fairly neck and neck the whole time.
Yes.
Well, I think the first half, I think you said Alabama was just getting the dog crap kicked out of them and had to step up in the second half.
No, they had to. They weren't playing. They were not playing poorly.
Okay.
Alabama was not playing poorly.
Okay.
Tennessee was just beating them.
Yeah, like actually beating them.
I mean, not like a yard dog. I mean, no, but it is rare to watch Alabama get outplayed.
And they were outplayed.
They were being outplayed, and not because Alabama was playing poorly.
Okay.
Tennessee was just playing better. And to watch that for a game against Alabama, who is just such a powerhouse, and, you know, all positional and bias aside, an absolute powerhouse, whatever the reasons are. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like to attach certain things that I like to crow about the region and toughness of the people, blah blah blah. Well, they are a legitimate powerhouse.
No, I get that.
If you beat them, you squeak it in. I mean,
I get that.
And they were overpowering.
No, I get that. No, as much as I'm not a football fan, as much as I'm not an American football fan, I can't help but notice that the majority of the southeastern American teams have a tendency to do exceedingly well against literally everyone else.
Well, it's like
and I don't mean per se this conference versus the other. No, I mean geographically, Southeast teams have a tendency to do better against anybody else. Not 100% of the time.
No.
But I know there's been some times you've seen well, I think the one story you did tell me, not to sidetrack completely, this one time Tennessee was facing I think the Oregon Ducks a couple years back. And you had a coworker
Cal Berkeley.
Yeah, that. And you had a coworker who was
working in Oakland.
Was like an Oregon Ducks or whatever that other team was.
Cal Berkeley.
Yeah, he was for those guys. And when Tennessee
University of California at Berkeley.
Oh, okay.
Or the Cal Bears.
Okay, so
their mascot's a bear.
Okay, so he was pulling for the Bears.
The Bears.
And
he had attended there.
He had attended that game.
He actually played football at that college.
Ooh, even better.
He was part of a very infamous ending of a football game.
Really?
That involved the fan charging on the field at the wrong time.
Uh-oh.
And this guy returning a kickoff scored a touchdown and ran and just completely slammed a trombone player.
Yeah.
He was on the field when that happened.
Yeah, ooh, that's not good.
So he was a big time cow bear.
Fair enough. So I remember the story you told me was the day after this Cal Bear Tennessee game had taken place, he had I don't know what happened. I can't remember what you said happened, but I can only assume that the Cal Bears got just absolutely stone cold slaughtered, because I distinctly remember you telling me the line of him coming into work the day after that game going, "If I hear Rocky Top one more fucking time."
And as much as I told you so, there was that part of me that was also had been on the receiving end, and I didn't care for the Rocky Top either.
That tells me
drummed into you.
So that tells me that this ain't the first time some geographical southeastern of America team has just whooped up somebody else.
It's as statistically, people, basketball teams that have taller players win more.
Exactly. Football teams with bigger and faster guys win more.
That has something to do with the Southeast.
Yes.
I could conjecture
there's a whole list of reasons. But
bloodline.
Bloodline, Scotch-Irish, Scotch-Indians, the Appalachian Mountain folk, all that sort of
White,
deal.
black, brown, red, yellow.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's something about this region.
Yeah, but not only that, also because you have teams like Clemson, Alabama, Gamecocks and whatnot, and various others, Bulldogs and everything else. All of these are fairly good teams, or no matter who you pull for. But the thing is, if you keep getting matched up and play games against these uber giants of southeastern college ball, eventually, it's that whole iron sharpens iron, and I think there was like a period of time where these big conferences didn't play each other. Like the northeastern teams kept to the northeast, and the western teams kept to the western, and so they
would only meet it like
occasional
the end of the season.
Yeah, like the end of the season.
Maybe.
Yeah, something like that. And so that left the southeastern teams to go, okay, so we can't go up to the north or the west, so let's just, you and me, let's fight, let's go, right now. And they kept doing that for years and years and years, and then when they pulled that genie out of the bottle, uncorked that champagne bottle, and let the southeastern teams, again, doesn't really matter what conference, just the geographical location.
Just geographical location.
You let those guys into the rest of the country, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, shit!
Well,
I couldn't help but notice that even as a non-fan.
They play a style of football that is very basic.
Usually requires getting in the mud and the rain and the torrent, because that's just how this area operates. We have 12 seasons in a year.
Get your hands dirty.
Because that's just what we do.
That's just the nature of what it is. And
so imagine my surprise when this, I think it was 49-49 or 48-48. Like the end score, it was like a tie with 2 seconds.
49-49.
Yeah, 2 seconds on the clock, just enough for one play. Yeah,
one play.
For one shot.
One shot.
And I think it was Tennessee that had the ball, and they decided to do a field goal kick, which nothing terribly controversial there,
A miss would have sent them into a tie.
Yeah, a miss would have sent them into a tie.
So kick really didn't matter.
No, it really didn't matter. I was actually kind of relieved that wouldn't have mattered.
Right.
Because if it
took all the pressure off the kicker.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, you don't want to be that guy.
Because even if he would have missed it, everybody would just went, eh.
Oh, okay, overtime or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. I would have hated to have been that kicker if it was
if he'd have been 1 point down and missed it.
Fucked.
Oh man.
Yeah. No. That was like a make or break of his career. If Tennessee was 1 point down.
I mean, I like one of the announcers said said his name and said he'll never, after he made the kick, said he'll never have to buy another meal in Knoxville.
Good.
Which, Knoxville, Tennessee, that's the main city.
Good man. And, so he makes the field goal. Spoiler alert, Tennessee wins for the first time against Alabama in what you said was about exactly 15 years.
15 years.
So imagine my surprise as a non-fan.
And in that 15 years... Alabama has won like 4 national championships.
Yeah, 4 or 5 of them.
4 or 5.
Yeah, no. Alabama, no joke. As a non-fan, they kick the shit out of people.
They do. They beat people up.
I respect that, even as a non-fan. So imagine my surprise when the guy makes the field goal. Tennessee wins. All of the Tennessee orange wearing motherfuckers.
Definitely 99% of everybody 30 and under.
Exactly. Yeah. They rush to the field.
Can't even see the field. There's so many of them on there. They're nuts to butts on that field.
Immediately just descend like a flood of water onto the field.
Yep.
Everyone's got cigars. Everyone's got beer. Or, I remember making a quip that the camera is just trying to film as much of this madness as possible because everyone was like high-fiving the players, smacking them on the back, celebrating with the players and the coaches. Yeah.
They'll talk about that game for the next 500 years.
Oh yeah, there was this one dude who was just like celebrating, having his hand way up in the air, and he's got this blue aluminum can. And I remember making the comment of, this game sponsored by Michelob Ultra.
Yeah, really.
Because it was just right there in the center.
Post-game mayhem, sponsored by
Michelob Ultra. Yes.
For legal reasons, this is a joke.
Of course. And I was like, I'm thinking like, okay, please, no one flash the camera, no one act a fool, please don't shoot, don't riot, don't cause a riot, basically. And apparently, every single person on that field, they decided to apparently just steal everything that wasn't nailed to the ground, including some things that were nailed to the ground, like the goalpost.
They were only really interested in the goalpost.
They took the goalpost.
You've never seen that.
I have never in my life seen people at a football game celebrate their victory so much that they actively steal the goalpost and the cops can't do anything about it. No, it was
and the university's just going to take it on the chin.
Yeah, they're just going to be like, you know what, 15 years, I'm cool. Like, we'll just pay for new goalposts. Who cares? It's like been 15 years. You know what? They can have those. Next.
Because they just sold season tickets for the next 10 years.
Exactly.
And that school has a tendency to do that anyway, so it really didn't matter. I mean, Tennessee Volunteer fans they're loyal, but it's a lot. Okay, we live right down the road from the orange badness.
Which, in my opinion, needs to stop. You people need to stop putting stickers on your cars because each one of your stickers causes you to drive 15% worse.
Leave that stuff at home on Sunday. That's all I ask.
Yes.
That's all I can say.
Anyway.
But Tennessee's a little. They're just as well. They're more loyal. In a different kind of way.
Enough to steal their goalposts.
Well, see. Basically, what Tennessee is like, the story we tell about the person who gets out of high school and goes to college.
Yeah.
And for the first time in their life, they are out from under the thumb.
Oh, so and they just lose their mind because they have all of this freedom all of a sudden?
And they've got all this pent up emotion.
Is that just
energy? That is exactly what happened last night.
Jesus.
They're very refined people. They really are.
I have to assume so.
There is a code of conduct.
But there's also a time and a place to lose your damn mind.
There's also a time, and I guarantee you, it puts such a breath of life into that fan base. Into not that they really needed it. I mean, they're undeterred. They never doubt themselves. It's very interesting.
Good.
The volunteer fan base. I've known them, and they are very unique. They are measurable.
Good.
They are very
very stout of character.
Stout fans. They're not punkish about it.
Good.
They don't hold it against you if you are on the other, like
the people that we live next to.
If you don't support the team down the road, they think that
you're Satan, or you work for
you
them.
have some type of mental instability.
Yeah, I know, and I'm sick of it.
Volunteer fans are just volunteer fans, and they're like, "Oh hey,
okay,
all right, cool."
Yeah, it's like, okay,
we're gonna beat you. Yeah, good luck.
Okay, cool. Let's have fun.
And let's have fun. I don't look at you funny.
I can respect that.
Well, it's not a bad thing. But there is also this.
It's like it's kind of the main reason why this is kind of one of the main reasons why last night.
They're not condescending. They're not.
No, good.
But they know that they are in an exclusive club, and you're not.
That's fine.
And that's fine. And they don't hold
don't
it
be
again.
A dick about it.
And they're not a dick. They really aren't.
That's fine.
They really aren't.
I was like, look, here's the thing.
And they're unapologetic.
That's fine.
They're very classy.
Just don't be a dick.
Very classy fans.
Yeah, just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Don't be a toxic
a couple of years
fan
ago,
base.
I don't want to deter. We can talk about that at the end of when they hired this particular football coach. But let's talk about what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, I know.
I can get to that.
Yeah, half the reason why I don't support the Orange Madness right next door is, here's the thing. I don't care how
madness.
It is madness.
I don't
care how.
Woo!
No.
I mean, like, pray to it madness.
Yeah, like wearing their shirts every bloody day. Like when they go to church, they're wearing.
I'm glad they're not pagan.
Jesus,
there would be some people getting sacrificed on the nearest rocks. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
it's that kind of
that type of religious fervor for a sports team.
Oh yeah,
oh my
it's crazy.
God.
I mean, and hey, good for them.
Yeah, good for them.
I try to stay out of their way.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to give them heat.
It's not worth it.
But it's just not worth it.
It's not worth it. Because there's like a billion of them.
Yeah,
and like
they have no sense of humor about it at all.
No, they don't. My God.
I mean, when I can take...
And here's the thing. Their worst nemesis, the Crimson people, they may act the exact same way. I don't know. Because they're like 3 hours away from us or something like that.
Well, think about...
But I've also... And here's the other thing. Here's how I know there has to be a difference between the Orange Madness and the Crimson people.
Yeah.
For people who know, you know.
Yeah.
Anytime I see someone with a Crimson People sticker, you know, the big C and their logo.
Yeah.
I see it and I don't see the person, like the sticker on like a bumper sticker, you know.
Right.
And I see them and they're like, and I'm like, okay, you support the Crimson People and all that fun stuff. And then I just drive on by. No incidences happen. But every single time, I swear, I don't know if this is just a personal pre-event bias or I'm making it up in my head, but I swear to God, I'm not. Every single time I have encountered a car, and I drive a lot. You know that.
Yes, you do.
I drive a lot. Almost every day.
Like at least an hour a day.
But minimum. And every single time.
That's job related.
Yeah, that's just job related. Although I wish it was personal related, but we'll get there sooner or later.
Yeah.
I'm starting to really like the typing because I can listen to stuff and do it.
Oh, isn't it cool?
It's fucking cool because I'm just like, shh. And I'm like listening to like a D&D podcast or listening or like I have the thing clicked on in another tab, something like
it's like
I'm listening to A Court of Fey and Flowers by Dropout and I'm in my ears and at the same time I'm like, oh Captain KP Hobb did what? Oh Lord Squawk Erebus, what did he do this week? You know, stuff like
cool?
that. Yeah, and I'm just typing. And
you've been able to use one part for this and one part for that.
Yes.
And do both of them well enough to
do both.
To enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. Because I can only use one part for one thing.
Yeah.
It's not that I can't multitask. It's like I can only watch one video at a time, not 3 at the same time. You know, does that make sense?
I can, but I don't enjoy it.
No, it's like sometimes what I can do is I can play a video game. I'm watching the game, I have the controller in my hand, and in my headphones, I'm listening to something completely different. But that's the thing, I can only use one sensory organ for one thing, but I can use 3 or more simultaneously, as long as they're concentrated on a different thing, an individual thing. Eyes have one thing to concentrate, ears, one thing, hands, one thing, feet, one thing, or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
So that's how I have to multitask. I'm not one of those crazy people that can watch 3 videos at the same time and go, I comprehend everything. It's like, okay, Galadriel, get the hell out of my room. But anyway, anytime I see a car on the road, with the Orange Madness stickers, because there's always more than one. Because
there's always more than one.
I have to calculate a statistical possibility that every sticker they put on their fucking car decreases their ability to drive by 15% per sticker. 50? Because every single time I encounter one of these people on the road...
10%.
No. If you drove as much as I would, I would take that into consideration.
And I drive all back roads.
Yeah.
Yes, you would know.
I cannot drive the back roads. It is shorter to take.
Based on daily experience, you definitely...
It is 15% per sticker, and I always have some kind of incident where they cut me off. They don't use their turn signal. They slam on brakes and hold up the line every time. Whereas the Crimson people...
That the sticker's not tainting your perspective.
I swear, because the thing is, every time I see someone with a Crimson people sticker, it doesn't happen.
Oh, you mean one versus the other?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean. One versus the other. The Crimson Madness people drive like assholes the Orange Madness people drive like assholes, and the Crimson people, for the most part, do not. That's what I mean by one team versus the other.
And I'm like, a regional thing.
I have no idea.
Maybe people right down the road from
where we are.
The Crimson.
Yeah, the Crimson people.
Maybe it's like that there.
That's what I have to assume.
Oh God, I swear, I'm a thing, with a scarlet A.
Yeah. But you know what I'm talking about, right? It's like, from my experience, this is part of why I will never pull for the Orange Madness people. And it's also why...
I mean, the only time I've ever pulled for them was when they were playing for the national championship. And that's because, hey, they were in football.
Yeah, in football.
They were, they're local.
Yeah.
They're, if they win,
we pull for local people no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm telling you, I got people that's for the other team from an hour and a half south that they wouldn't pull for the Orange Madness if
you have a gun on them.
If they were held in a home invasion situation.
Yeah, like...
That might be it.
There is
break into somebody's house from the team down in the middle of the state.
Exactly.
And then let it be Orange Madness people.
But it's
demanding. They don't want your money.
They just want your support.
They're just like, you're gonna pull for us today. And
yeah.
They're like,
no, never.
You're gonna die. I don't care if I do already be dead. But
yeah, take me to Jesus.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I know, and
it's a little.
This is also another reason why I don't pull for football because that just seems like so much of a pain in the ass to keep up that level of energy.
I'm not looking down my nose at it. I just find it funny and interesting. It used to get on my nerves, but then I realized, I'm no better.
No, I get it.
I'm no more, no less. I just. At least
you're not contributing all this energy to a fucking football team. I'm not saying that doesn't matter.
I spend a little money on stuff I pull for, but I don't get crazy.
Yeah, but you don't get crazy. That's the difference.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that perspective where it's on their clothes and their car and their jewelry.
Oh no! You still have that. You still have that one jacket in your closet. No, I get
and
that.
And that was a gift.
That was a gift.
And
it was a lovely gift.
It was a lovely gift.
Beautiful.
And as much as I love it, and I love it.
Would
I have paid what was paid for it?
Probably not.
I would have thought about it, but I would have resisted.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful leather coat.
Because I'm just not in the habit of buying myself stuff like that.
Yeah, and stuff like that has to be a gift anyway. You know what I mean?
To me, it does.
Yes.
And I'm not pro or con people, and God bless the matriarch for being that way, because
she is just a gift giver. That's her love
language. Never would have. I mean, no. I would have probably as close as I would ever got to ponying up the dough for something like that. Mm-hmm. I would have got really close, but it's just hard for me to buy stuff.
Oh, I get it.
It's just childhood things.
I understand that.
Yeah. So.
Ain't no thing. That actually reminds me. I need to take a picture of that coat. Because I've got a client who also supports the same team, and when I mentioned that coat to her, she was all like, "Oh, what?" I said, "Oh yeah."
I've never seen one like it.
I've never seen one like it either. She probably hasn't either.
Yeah,
she's not crazy into this team in particular.
Right.
Not like Orange Madness. But she does have, you know how some cars, they'll have like a front license plate holder, usually for something cosmetic or the actual license plate. I don't know, whatever people want to use it for. Yeah, her front license plate is the star.
Well, there's also a difference between something that you purchase and something that somebody buys for you.
Correct.
Now, if you are the type of person, you're a big fan of one of these particular teams, and I got a few friends of mine that are really into the yellow and black NFL team. It's an NFL team. They know who they are, the Terrible Towel people. And so...
I don't think I'm familiar. But whatever. Anyway, you tell your story.
No, I mean, if I can understand if people buying them gifts.
Yeah.
They don't know what to buy them.
Yeah.
So they get them all this stuff. So,
Oh, no. Anytime Bro needs a gift, where I try to get him money, but this last birthday of his, I tried to give him something that he could actually use. I got him like a big bottle of aloe vera lotion that he could, give to the kids that he works with at these camps. Because I imagine some of those kids getting sunburnt out there, and I gave it to him, along with like a portable drink cooler with his team on it. Because I'm thinking like, okay, this is something practical that I can give you. Now, whether or not you use them ain't none of my business because it's a gift.
Well, I think some people get carried away with disposable income, and then they buy you the rug, and a shirt is functional.
Sure.
They get you the flag.
He don't need a flag. No, but I try to
seat
get him
covers.
Maybe.
It's like,
that's still practical.
No, it is kind of practical, but
it's why I got him the drink
glasses and cups.
That's a little too much.
Just marketing.
I just got him that drink cooler because I wanted to give him something with his team on it too.
Like that.
And it's a drink cooler, so he can use it when he's out doing the summer camp thing.
But Orange Madness is.
No, thank you.
I mean, they wear those symbols to work. They wear them to church. Not a fan of that.
My boss's only saving grace is actually... I actually don't know who she pulls for. I'm willing to bet it's the Crimson people. Because if she's that type of person...
Did she come from the north?
Yeah, Michigan.
She pulls from Michigan.
Well, of course, but I mean around here. Like, if she had to find some common ground with people, I think she's more so, that actually might be why she doesn't talk about it. Because I actually don't know. That's her one saving grace, is that she isn't in the Orange Madness, at least not the college Orange Madness. There's a different type of Orange Madness happening there, and I have several questions that I know is never going to be answered. She has this weird loyalty to, now, I don't want to out myself as someone who's advocating for a supporter of the Orange Man, but honestly, I really don't give a shit at this point. She has this weird loyalty to the Orange Man, to where when...
Cheeto Man?
The Cheeto Man, yeah. Cheeto Man. Orange Man, Bad Man. Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
And it's this weird loyalty that when all this weird shit happened between him and the Pence guy, I was like, because I don't follow this at all. A lot of my knowledge of world events come from her, because her and her fucking clients can't seem to take a chill pill to save their life.
Pence was the vice president.
Yes.
And he
was vice president to Orange Man.
He had an obligation on January 6, 2000 to certify the vote and ring in the new president, Sleepy Joe.
Sure.
And he did.
Because that was his job.
Because that was his job. Now here's the texture of the situation.
Okay, what the fuck is happening? Okay.
It's always been my understanding, okay? I didn't just develop this yesterday.
No.
Or within the last 5 years. It's always been my understanding.
Sure.
That the vice president certification of the election vote is a ceremonial position.
Yeah, just for frills.
It's just for frills and show.
Yeah, it's not symbolic.
It is symbolic, and it's not substance.
But it's just what you have to do because it's ceremonial.
Because exactly, it's ceremonial.
Yeah, it doesn't mean he's a turncoat.
Doesn't mean I don't know. But there are people that, and just because
he did his fucking job, I guess.
I mean, I guess he could have refused.
I guess,
but it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered.
No, not really.
See, that's how you know it's ceremonial.
Yeah.
Because if he didn't do anything, it didn't matter.
Exactly. Okay. But anyway.
But one particular group of people are under the impression
that just because he did that,
if he had not done it, it basically could have started a civil war.
Well. I don't think,
or it should have.
I don't.
In other words, they're blaming him.
They're blaming him
because all he had to do was say no, and then Sleepy Joe wouldn't have got in.
That is bullshit.
All I'm saying is
that cannot be true. You mean to tell? No.
I don't know.
I'm not telling you I'm not saying you're a liar. No. This isn't me saying you're a liar.
It's not a matter of being a liar.
No. I'm just poking holes in this thought process here now. All right, so let's break this down real quick. I don't mean to sidetrack this.
I know, but what if it was?
But here's what we're working with. You and I are under the impression that this little changing of the title, changing, passing the torch from one administration to the next is ceremonial. Okay, so if there is a decent-sized group of people who think that because the vice president under the Cheeto Man did his fucking job in quote-unquote passing the torch to the current administration, that if he had not have done it, then the current president would not have gone into office and would have started a civil war. You mean to tell me that the whole shebang, the elections, the approval ratings, and whatever other things that determine you are the president of the North America land, or whatever the hell we are at this moment in time. I'm not fully sure anymore.
Right.
So, you mean to tell me all of this process, all of this dog and pony show, all this money donated, spent, whatever, on the books, off the books, whatever, can be completely overturned by one asshole with a stick up his ass going, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to Florida or whatever. Like, I'm going to Tampa Bay to get some sun that day, and you not gonna be president because I won't be there. And then he just isn't president. You mean to tell me that is the bottleneck we have to reach? This changing of the guard is the one thing that stops presidents from being president? At any point, someone could just go.
Because wouldn't you have
like a list of people to do that?
A better relationship with that person.
Exactly. It's like, okay, so you mean to tell me that if you didn't want this president to be president, you would have to, like, the absolute last resort was to assassinate the previous administration's vice president so that they never become president? Do you see how stupid this is?
I love it because they always put dumb people in vice presidential roles. So if they really had that big of an impact, they wouldn't put just.
They wouldn't just put some asshat in that role.
They wouldn't put these straw woolmans and mans.
Yeah, straw mans and straw woolmans.
Whomever. In these roles if
that was important.
If that position held that much power, that's an extremely, extremely good observation.
I'm just saying, like, if this
that's tremendous.
I'm just saying, if this is the event horizon, so to speak, if this is the point of no return, and you just kill this person before thank you. I'm very, very happy about this green tea. You just kill this vice president before it's like this. If that was the case, they would have killed Sleepy Joe to prevent Cheeto Man from becoming president. If this was the one thing that said you are now president, to have this exchange with the former vice president
for the VP to go, fuck you guys, I'm going to Florida.
Yeah, exactly. Then they would have assassinated Sleepy Joe to prevent Cheeto Man from becoming president in like 2015, technically. Do you see how this is so stupid? And my boss is under the same opinion
that's the perspective that we're coming from.
Yes,
that your boss is so
ate up with it. Yeah, she is so ate up with it because Mike Pence did this. Plus, I guess testified against the Cheeto Man and whatever the fuck the January 6th court hearings are. I don't know what the fuck's going on with that, and I don't care. I don't want to talk about it.
And
giving a statement
against.
Yeah, exactly. But no,
if they ask you what happened and you tell the truth, you're not testifying.
It's not slander.
For or against.
You're just literally saying, I was here.
It was this time.
It was like, this time I was eating a sandwich.
Yeah.
And then all hell broke loose. Yeah. That's just telling the truth.
Now, if he starts giving his opinion,
that's when you gotta watch out.
It's either for or against.
Correct.
But it's my understanding, I don't know,
did he have a sandwich? I don't know.
Quote unquote testimony.
Yeah, it's like.
All he did was give objective observation.
From what we've seen, from what you've seen, which I haven't.
And the media takes it and runs with it.
Because they always do.
Because they always do.
And my boss was just ate up with it a couple months ago. She still ate up with it. Talking about how he should be tried for treason because of all this. And I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, what in the fuck am I doing? Yeah. You know one of those moments, those little impasses in people's brains where you're going, do I seriously work for you? Yes. That was one of those moments.
It's like, take it easy.
Yeah, it's like, take it easy. And I'm like, first of all, if I knew better, and I don't, because I really don't care.
People from both sides spit out a lot of words they truly don't understand. Yes. Words like treason and fascist
like,
and all this other stuff.
You guys, like, you don't do that.
You don't understand what you're talking about.
No.
Because if you did, you would just spit it out like that.
Not like that.
Not like that.
No. This is why I have a tendency to choose my words very carefully, not just because I have a tendency to piss people off, although I do, but also because there are certain words, and this is any language.
Oh, yeah.
There are certain words that, when said, mean something. It's like when you call someone a fool. That word means something to you.
And everybody knows what it means.
Yes.
That's the whole thing right there.
Yeah. What did you say the other day? You can be a hero or a heel or a fool.
Yeah.
But, you shouldn't be a fool.
I don't recommend it. We all have
foolish moments.
Foolish moments.
But to be a fool. That is.
And almost, it's like the longer you live, the closer you get to the possibility of doing that.
What, being a fool?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't think it's age, though. I just think you're here. Excuse me.
I don't know. It just out, damn it.
It's like I like vaporwave.
Yeah, we like vaporwave.
And chill wave.
Yeah.
I like that music because it's cool.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And there's not a whole lot of lyrics that remind me of some. See, there's a lot of music from my past. It's really good. Mm-hmm. But it invokes certain memories that I don't really want to think about all the time now. So I like vaporwave because there's not really it just relaxes me. It doesn't engage me.
Yeah.
That's also why I like
on
type.
The streets of Japan till I get lost, 'cause it doesn't remind me of anything. Oh yeah.
So that's where I am.
I get that. It's why I can't listen to certain music anymore. It's like I had to dedicate an entire playlist to songs that were either very positive or lyrically did not make me want to kill myself.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, these are good songs.
It's
like these are good songs. It's like I love Alice in Chains, listen, but it's like, dude,
you know what's going to be so cool? You know what is going to be so cool?
What?
Okay, and I'm telling you, this is going to happen. I remember how bad I did not enjoy anything up until the age of about 15 or 16 years old. My entire people go, well, you know, maybe it's the culture you came out of.
Potentially.
Maybe. What it was the economic times.
Yeah.
And
what is it? You were like 70s or something when this all was happening, or?
Well, I was. That's what's going on with a lot of people today. They don't. We're experiencing a once in a generation bear market. Mm-hmm. Okay. And
I wish it would actually fucking happen already.
Oh, but it's on top of us, and it's not going to get up without putting its weight on us.
Good, because I just want to shorten the damn market already, and it won't do it because it keeps going sideways. I get why it's going sideways. They're trying to cushion this as much as possible.
Well, they call it soften the landing.
But it's going to land.
But it is
just
going
let
to
it
land.
happen. Just
if you look at 2008 and you look at 2020,
we bailed out of that situation.
Those are wave twos. Those are the pop culture term for that is called a V.
Yes,
V
or a sharp wave 2.
V.
If you're an Elliott wave person,
it's called a V-shaped recovery.
Yeah. And that happened.
And that happens. And if you catch a V-shaped recovery and get in heavy on the bottom.
Which is what we're going to do at some point.
Which is what we're going to do at one point.
Because why wouldn't we?
After a little bit of time, you're set.
Yeah, exactly. And then you just ride the momentum. Because it doesn't take brains to... I now understand why the phrase, it doesn't take brains to make money in a bull market is a thing. Because
that's what's capped a whole bunch of people too. I got a bunch of friends that have lost a whole bunch of money.
Oh yeah, because
they got in right before they got in the last 10, 20, 30 years.
Yeah. Now here's the thing: I don't sneeze at. I'm not dismissing people who have made their money in only a bull market. You still made money. You don't have a job. That's fine. That's cool. Yeah. I respect that. I respect the hustle. Granted, I'm upset because we figured all this shit out in the middle of a bear market.
Well,
granted, I'm happy we did, but at the same time, it's like I just want to. If the market was a person somehow,
right?
The entirety of the stock market, stocks, commodities, crypto, if all of that was an individualized human being, and I'm going to call this human being Jeff. The entire financial stock market.
Jeff or Jeffrey?
No, Jeff.
Okay.
No, we don't need, no. This needs to be less dignified for the sake of the joke.
Oh, Jeff is less dignified than Jeffrey?
Correct. Because it's shorter.
Is that a syllable thing?
Yes. Okay. It's a syllable thing.
It's not.
Because you see my T, don't you? I know. I want to strangle Jeff. Because I want to wrap my damn hands around his throat and go, stop going sideways! Up or down!
Die already!
Up or down! There is no sideways!
Yeah, you're,
just pick one! Because right now, Jeff is being so damned indecisive.
They're in the throes of death. But they're not giving up the ghost yet, buddy.
Yeah, so I just want to reach around and just be like, hey, and just shake him real hard to break his fucking vertebrae.
You know what? That's a very good observation. Because what's happening...
Because if Jeff goes up or down, we can do something with that.
Right, and so can big money.
But
when it goes sideways...
Nobody knows what the fuck is happening.
Nobody makes any money.
Not even the smartest motherfucker on the planet.
I'm glad you said that, because here's what's going to happen.
No, not Buffett, not the trader that we do not speak of. No one can make heads or tails of a sideways market.
The powers that be are going to choke out Jeff.
Oh, so they're going to do it for me?
Yes.
Thank you, Big Money, for killing Jeff before I do.
Because we both realize where we are. Okay,
we stopped fucking trading.
Jeff has to stop for legal reasons. This is a joke.
Now,
Jeff has to stop being so Jeff can be regrown.
So we have to kill Jeff. in order for Jeff to
whack
live.
Jeff to get to Jim.
So for legal reasons, by Jeff we mean the stock market.
Stock market economy.
That is literally what we're talking about.
Yes.
We just individualized all of this into a single person.
We can't get the fire to start blazing again until we snuff this one out.
So we have to kill Jeff in order for Jeff to live.
Yes.
Please clip this because this is the best way I've been able to explain it.
And that's what's going to happen. And that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And people
it sucks to be Jeff.
It does. And it sucks to be a victim of Jeff.
Mm-hmm. But hot damn,
getting
Sam.
snuffed. But that's what's going to happen.
That's what's going to happen.
That's what's going to happen the next year to 2 years.
That's fine, because we're in a good situation.
We are in a good situation.
85% of all our shit is paid off. The only thing is bills, and I think something that the matriarch's got, utilities, whatever the matriarch's got left. That's it.
That's it.
And you and I, we're working on the typist things, because they're gonna need coders. They're gonna need transcribers.
They are.
Because I know at some point, my days at my gym, I'm not saying they're numbered, but it's going to be less profitable for me to go up there.
Right.
Because of, I don't know. Because of all the money that's flooding into the area, it will cushion this area. So
it is bringing a lot of outside. Well, I'll put it to you like this. Mm-hmm. I got a patient, a patient of mine who came from the northeast. Mm-hmm. He sold his dwelling up there, bought one down here with a nice piece of land.
Fair. That's cool.
After everybody was paid, still had over $250,000 in his pocket for moving down here from up there.
Yeah, because the price difference was staggering.
Yeah.
Now
he brought skills down here to rebuild the structure.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not mad per se.
He got twice the land.
Yeah.
And he still put over $250,000. Actually, put over $1/3 of $1 million in his pocket.
He still has $1/3 of $1 million in his pocket.
And there's people like that are moving down here, and so they have this.
They're going to stimulate our economy.
They're going to stimulate our economy with this disposable income.
So basically,
and that's where you are,
and that's where I am. So I don't want to speak out loud that my days are numbered per se. Although sometimes, I know I'm going to get. I'm going to get a phone call or a text tomorrow for her asking me where the fuck I've been. I'm like, I gotta take my dog to the vet. Why do you keep doing that? She does do that, where if I don't come back, if I have 1 or 2 people in the morning and I don't come back, she'll send me a text asking me where I am and if she just make sure I'm okay, quote unquote, am okay. And she may mean that.
But she also may be wondering if you've taken the long walk.
If I've taken the long walk, yeah. Because apparently I am not joking when I say that we cannot get anybody else to work there. We had a potential person who said he wanted to work there. He was actually one of her clients. He's the dude that established the first Gold's Gym in this area. For legal reasons, this is a joke. This man who I have constantly had to shout at, embrace the old ways, eat your chicken and rice. And I've constantly said, why the fuck do I need to tell you this? Why don't you know this? You're older than me. You clearly have a better background in a gym and exercise than I do.
Yeah.
My only application is the stupid piece of paper from the aficionados, or the people that I took a test for and passed.
Right.
And I have about less than a year's worth of training from someone that actually worked at that gym to understand how they do things. Plus you with your background in working out and medicine.
Right.
And I'm like, why the fuck do I gotta tell you to eat your chicken and rice? Why do I have to do that? Well, apparently there's a difference between just some random meathead in the gym and an actual personal trainer. I learned because of him.
Right.
And he was setting up to go, oh, I think I did it. Oh, I think I might have done it. Oh. He was setting up to be a personal trainer at my gym too, but only in the mornings because, he wanted to use this as a side job. Ain't no big deal. Mm-hmm. Whatever.
Yeah,
no, whatever. Who cares? So he was gearing up to it, and then about the time I blew a fucking gasket over that dude that kept grabbing my boss's ass during the free consultation and didn't even have enough money to pay for even the most basic of basic packages, and she was still trying to cut him a deal anyway.
Right.
After I blew that gasket, and he was there that day, I was just raging down that highway after my boss for doing something so monumentously stupid, or about to do something so monumentously stupid. Because I told him what happened. Because he was there shadowing her. And I asked him, I very pointedly, like, what the fuck happened that night? Gritted teeth, eyes just squinted. I don't know what I look like when I'm that mad.
Oh, he saw your war face.
He saw it. And I was asking him about that night. I asked him about that night. I was like, what did you see? What did you hear? What the fuck happened? And him being a guy, he's like, I didn't notice he grabbed her ass. I'm like, okay. And I didn't give him any shit for that because, again, I had to tell this guy to eat his chicken and rice, and he still didn't eat his fucking chicken and rice. I don't expect a lot of perception there. Does that make sense?
Sure.
I don't know. I don't stomp on people if I know what level they're at. Does that make sense?
Sort. Yeah.
Is that sort? Okay. Sure. So I'm not saying you should know better, but I can only expect certain things out of certain people. It's like, why didn't you do that? Oh, you just don't have that ability, or that's just not a part of who you are.
It's not a part of who you are.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I can't be mad at him because
if he's honest.
If he's honest, he was honester. Because his wife glared at him when I started asking very specific questions. And I saw her get target locked, so he had no choice but to be honest. And then after that day, I started to slowly hear less and less about this guy coming in until he eventually stopped training with my boss.
Does he train anywhere?
Apparently him and his cousin are doing something on the offhand, but he and his wife had initially signed up to be... they had like this big package where they shared the hour, and midway, I don't know what exactly the reason was. I don't know what the actual reason is. How about that? There are good reasons to do it, and then there's like, oh, this is what really was the cause of it,
Right.
Not something that sounds plausible. No, this is the truth of it. I don't know what the truth of it was, but he decided to step down, stop training with my boss, and instead put someone else in his place so that his wife can still work out with her. And then I start slowly hearing
so his wife still comes to the gym?
Oh, yeah, with her best friend, which is fine.
Okay.
But he's not. And I distinctly remember it was that day when I was just...
Maybe he had to go get a different kind of job.
Either that, or he decided he didn't want to be near me or her.
Well,
he didn't want to be in close proximity to me or my boss, which is fair. I get it. Not a lot of people want to be in close proximity to me. Not a lot of people want to be in close proximity to her.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm a saint in this situation.
Maybe he just realized it wasn't for him.
Realized wasn't for him.
Or it exposed something that...
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, no, I'm convinced that there is... I think the only reason that I'm still there is because I've made myself patient enough to keep up with it. But that can only last for so long.
Sure.
Because, again, this is the, same person's like, Mike Trump should be tried for treason for what he did. I'm like... How the fuck do I work for you?
Well, I mean, people are,
I'm not saying she shouldn't be entitled to her opinion, but it's like, you're just throwing that out there, man. I don't even know what's happened.
Well, a lot of people just parrot stuff they hear from other
Yes, I know.
And, it's just like, it's just a way of expressing their disappointment in how things turned out.
I don't.
Really
I'm not pro or against the Cheeto Man or his administration because I honestly don't care. I'm not pro or against the Sleepy Joe administration because I mildly don't care. honestly, gas prices. The only reason I'm not mad at gas prices is because it wouldn't have mattered who was president. This was coming anyway. It may have taken a different form.
A certain part of, I don't think it would be as intense as it is right now.
Sure.
But the market was going to roll over regardless.
Mm-hmm. And that's the only reason I've kept my peace about gas prices and food prices and stuff like that.
Actually, now, when you get right down to it, okay.
Like, it's almost like studying the economy has brought me more peace.
Let's talk big deal. Let's talk big deal, big global conspiracy stuff. How about that?
Oh, God.
So right before a market turns, there is a big run up.
Yeah.
In other words, the most profitable time of a big bull market, as a rule.
Yes.
In the shortest amount of time.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Happens right before it crashes. Crashes, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember you said in 2008, I was a kid during all this. In 2008, they said they're basically telling Main Street to dump all their money into Jeff's pocket so that big money could cover their losses.
That's
essentially.
That's basically what happened.
Well, did something similar happen in the past couple of years that I missed?
Well,
probably.
Take a look at Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin.
Hypothetically.
Which, in the last...
Digital currency's happening, people. Just get over it.
Get over it.
Yes. Sorry, not sorry. This is just going to happen. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't like chemtrails either, but they're in the sky. What do you want me to do about it?
Exactly.
Okay, Bitcoin had this huge run.
Oh, yeah. It almost, it got up to 66 grand.
They got up to like 69 grand. It highed out.
Funny number.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. So maybe
there's some part of me that believes that was on purpose.
We're going to get into hardcore powers that be hardcore conspiracy.
As long as we don't say their names, as we don't say their names, the YouTube AI bot aren't going to figure it out.
The person who definitely was the best candidate to push the economic engine in the end.
Yes,
definitely would have been based on the individuals in the running in 2016.
Yeah,
the Orange Man was definitely the best candidate.
Just because he's a businessman.
Just because he's a businessman.
And it's almost like businessman like to business.
Yo.
Yeah, yo. That's the one thing I will say. It's like, that's actually one thing I do remember being very disappointed in his critics and people who just didn't like him was like, oh, the Orange Man passed this thing and it's like valuing these multi-dollar companies, man. I'm thinking, oh no, the New York businessman made a New York-oriented business decision. Oh, like, what?
So maybe he was the best. Maybe he was the best candidate to really step on the gas pedal.
Potentially, yes.
In the end, maybe. Just looking at Elliott Waves, maybe
I don't know what he could have done.
No, what I'm saying is he was the best person at that time to get into the driver's seat to floor it, because that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's just how we be.
Because that's just how we be. Okay.
Okay.
So he basically instituted policy decisions that juiced the economy the best it's been, the fastest it's been since the late 90s, since the 80s, early to mid 80s, since literally since the 1950s. Mm-hmm. There were numbers that we as a country hit based on his policies. I'm not pro or con on it. I'm just telling you what happened. This is literally what happened. Don't let anybody lie to you. Mm-hmm. There were economic numbers that have not been seen in the last 50 years. Right before a crash, which is the best time to put your foot on the gas pedal.
Fair enough.
Right before the end. You know, it's like jumping a canyon in a car. Mm-hmm. Okay. You want to be going as fast. Okay, there's the takeoff.
Yes.
And then there's the jump off.
Yes.
You want to be going as fast as you can possibly go, not at the takeoff.
But at the jump off.
At the jump off.
And that's technically what happened.
So, All right. Then you know that Jeff needs to die.
Yes, okay. Jeff needs to die.
What better candidate?
Jeff, the entire stock market needs to die.
Jeff, for better legal reasons.
This is still a joke. Jeff is not a real person.
Jeff is not a real person.
This is the entire collective of stocks, commodities, and crypto, and whatever else.
North American economy.
Yeah, the North American economy
Global
is Jeff.
Economy, whatever his name. We're calling him Jeff.
Yeah.
So Jeff has to
die so that Jeff can live.
So Jeff can be reincarnated.
Yes.
But you have to. So that's the whole thing about enlightenment. Yeah. Oh, I want to be reincarnated. We have to die first.
Yeah, you got to die first.
Okay, so Jeff has to die first to be reincarnated.
What is reincarnation, or what is enlightenment? But anyway.
So who was the best candidate running in 2020 to assure that Jeff passes? Well, we got Sleepy Joe.
Because yes.
Because Jeff needs to go.
Jeff needs to go so that we can start a new cycle.
So we can start a new cycle. So we can get rid of Jeff and bring in Jim.
Yeah. Something like that.
Jim. Yeah.
Yeah, Jim.
What's up, Jim? Exfoliating is very important as well.
Indeed. But the problem is that they're still trying this soft landing approach instead of just letting it nosedive into the ground.
Well, it isn't something that just happens in a season. It may take the next 2 years.
I've already made it plain that next year is going to be a bad year.
It's going to be a bad year.
It's going to be a fucking bad year.
People are just,
I've had several people stop me and just be like, no, don't speak it into existence. Exactly like you said. And I said to them, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter anymore.
It's going to happen.
Okay, there's speculation is
no,
done.
It's not. No, the speculation's done. This is going to happen.
I'm not talking about doom and gloom.
No.
That's the greatest thing about Elliott waves. I realize it's not doom and gloom.
This is just how it is.
This is just how the process happens, and this is the perspective that you need to understand.
Elliott wave essentially is... Okay. Elliott wave essentially is just a financial readout of Fibonacci.
Of how it works.
This
is just how it works. It's not good or... See, that's the whole thing.
People want to wrap it up in the
thing about chaos theory.
People want to wrap it up in good or bad, but doesn't matter. It's not applicable.
What did Williams say in chaos theory? He said it's not a bear market. It's not a bull market.
It's just the market.
It's just the market.
It's just Jeff.
It's just Jeff.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
And once you understand that, you realize that, the people that are upset, the people that are worried, thought the party was never going to end.
Oh, I know plenty of people who thought the party wasn't going to end.
And there's a lot of really unfortunate, a lot of innocent people.
Yes,
that got
swept
up into that.
No,
party's never going to end, and that happens.
That does happen, and it makes me sad.
It does.
It makes me sad for the people who innocently got swept up into it, who for one reason or another either didn't do any research or trusted certain individuals who, for their own own lack of explanation, lied to them, or they were inept as well.
Once again, profiting in a bull market does not make you a genius.
No, it doesn't.
So everybody was living in what we used to, when I was a kid, called high cotton, and living in
high cotton.
Okay, just meant the plant was and I can remember your grandma talking about picking cotton.
Yeah, because she is that old.
Yeah, she picked cotton. My grandfather, your great grandfather, he grew along with other crops. He grew cotton. They hated picking cotton.
Yeah, because that's what you did.
That's what
And when
so
it was
the taller the plant was, the less you had to bend over.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you were in good,
the cotton was high.
The cotton was higher, so that's where that comes from.
That explains a lot. Okay, so I've heard that term tossed around.
Easier to collect. Bending over 1,000 times in a day. And
it required less effort.
Exactly. That's what
less effort for the same.
So there's a whole bunch of people that profited from less effort,
who now have to put in more effort.
And that's the thing. Do they know how?
Yeah, that's also...
that's not a slam. I mean, that's a legitimate question. That's a legitimate question. I'm curious.
I've actually asked, and I've probably said this numerous times on this podcast, and I say this just because, look, this is my job, and I made no secret that I enjoy bitching about my job because, honestly and truly, look, here's the thing. Except for, like, the occasional movie that's not some kind of propagandic schlock for the message or whatever the fuck that means anymore.
Just make movies for crying out loud.
Just make fucking movies.
Jesus.
I am done with movies and most of television that try to force this message. It doesn't matter what
I don't care what it is.
You have to do. It's like they do the theme first, and the story and everything else last. And it's like
sucks.
And it sucks the life out of it. It's like it's like, guys, I'm not stupid. I know how to read between the lines, although you clearly think that your audience can't. So you got to spell it out and just make it obvious. Oh God, I don't want to get into that.
It's like singing off key. You think people are more interested in the song other than how good it sounds? The lyrics of the song?
Sure.
Okay.
It's like people are more interested in the lyrics versus how you sing it, but you still sing it badly.
But if you sing it badly,
then no one's going to care.
No one's going to care.
That's kind of what's happening right now. So most of media and like movies and most TV shows, except for like House of Dragon, which is actually pretty fucking good, it's decent enough.
Time jumps are pissing me off.
The time jumps are pissing me off, but I don't want to get into that right this second.
I want to enjoy the damn story.
Yes, it's like
kicked in the knee every third episode.
Yeah, it's like, guys, this isn't a history class. How about, you know what they should have done? They should have put a fucking title card at the after the intro, after the recap, and after the intro. It's like 10 years later, 6 years later. That's what I want.
Or give me a transitional scene.
Give a transitional scene.
How about
something.
A montage?
Yeah, or something. It's
you know, like Indiana Jones and the plane going across the map.
Exactly. It shows his progression through his journey. Some kind of
progression. I'll just wake up. I'm like, who the hell is that?
Who the fuck is that? Oh, no.
Is that the girl?
Is that the little girl?
Yeah, is that the little girl?
Is that the Miss Dragon? Oh, that pissed me off.
I was staring at her and was like,
who the fuck are you?
Are you her aunt? You're
the little girl.
Her.
You're little Miss Dragon.
Okay.
What the fuck happened?
All right.
Exactly.
Wait a minute.
No, they need either a title card or some kind of transition because I had to read.
It couldn't be any worse.
No.
Even with a title card.
Yeah,
even though a title card, you'll just go,
okay, whatever. But at least it gives you context.
But at least it gives you context.
You don't wake up one morning and it's like, hey, little Miss Dragon.
There's this great.
And the next episode, it's like, oh my God, she just gave birth and she's like 10 years older. What the fuck just happened?
There's this great story.
And there's 2 other kids.
About George Lucas showing Star Wars. This is where the title card came from.
Yes.
Showing the title card, in a galaxy far away.
This is how this got invented.
This is how this got invented. George Lucas had to be coming along with some very good filmmakers.
Like Ford Coppola?
Francis Ford Coppola and
was he
Steven Spielberg.
Okay. And, so he was screening this movie for these guys.
Coppola. It was...
was it Coppola or...
No, and Scorsese.
It was probably Scorsese.
No, it wasn't Scorsese. It was... who's the guy?
What did he make? What did he direct?
Brian De Palma.
Oh, shit!
Brian De Palma.
Yes!
And they watched it, and Brian De Palma said, I don't understand any of this.
What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, exactly. And that's where the title card sequence came in.
Because George Lucas he probably realized
that
I need to give some...
This is my vision.
Yeah, I know what's happening.
I understand it completely.
They don't.
I need to introduce them somehow.
Yes.
And you know as well as I do, title card beginnings, especially narration that begins this movie.
Yes. A black screen with text.
Oh my God, you're just like, oh Jesus. That's like, it's almost like the kiss of death.
But at least it gives you context.
But it does give you some context.
Whereas House of Dragon is just dropping you on...
It's just like...
What the fuck?
Who's that?
Who the fuck are these people? Yeah, exactly.
It's halfway through you're halfway through the episode where you go...
What happened?
I honestly, to understand this better, I need to go back and rewatch it, but I don't really want to because now I'm annoyed.
Yeah, exactly.
So, give me something.
Other than that, it's pretty decent. It's very in the early days of Game of Thrones with more political intrigue than overtly fantasy elements.
Well, it's a little more brutal, which I think is a testament to older times.
I respect that.
We're more civilized today. Okay, whatever.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. We just don't put...
We have better technology now.
Better technology.
Yeah.
I think that's what's wrong with Rings of Power, though.
How so?
Because it's. I think Rings of Power is trying to get into that whole House of Dragons kind of thing. But
they can't.
And it's just all jumbled, and I just can't.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm trying to watch it, and I don't care what anybody says. Okay, if I enjoy something, I enjoy something.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
No, I don't take that away from people if you legitimately enjoy something, but I'm not going to.
What? I can't. I don't understand. People are like, well,
I don't know.
I don't get what's going on here.
I don't know. Well, here's the thing. The Silmarillion, which is what Rings of Power is based off of, I will say this plainly, and I don't care if I piss off the Tolkien nerds sometime in the far future. Fuck y'all, first of all. Some of you guys are cool. A lot of you aren't. And if you know who you are, then guess what? You're part of the problem. Here's the thing. The Rings of Power is based off of the Silmarillion, which, to my understanding, as a non-Tolkien nerd, I still have not read the Lords of the Ring books. I have read The Hobbit. I think it was like your copy that I had to duct tape together just to keep it the spine
that
intact.
Book was given to me. That one particularly was given to me.
I think I still have it.
1977 or something.
Yeah, I think I still have it.
And it was already very weathered.
Mm-hmm. I think I still have it somewhere in my room. Yeah. But anyway, so as someone who has not read the Silmarillion, to the best of my knowledge, the Silmarillion is essentially a collection of half-thoughts and notes from Tolkien that were never fully incorporated into Lord of the Rings. It's like when they died, they were still trying to find, and they were like, the story, okay, do you remember the quote-unquote story of Richard Bachman, the alias of Stephen King? In some of his books, they have like a little paragraph introductory of Richard Bachman was like some dude, and then he died of a heart attack one day, and his wife was going through his drawers cleaning out some of his stuff, and she found all of these manuscripts and had them published under his name. Well, here's the thing. I know Richard Bachman isn't real, but that's essentially what they did to Tolkien.
He did create a backstory.
Yeah, they gave a backstory for Richard Bachman.
That's
and
what
why
happened.
there's
They
only a
went
limited run.
And
they basically went through his fucking death. They went through a dead man's desk, essentially, him and his kids, and compiled all of his notes, any scrap of Lord of the Rings lore, backstory, how this world came into existence. What are the gods? What is Gandalf? What is Sauron?
Perspective of his notes.
Yeah, basically they tried their best to compile a half-baked. Oh yeah, it's like a half-baked lore, essentially.
And that's what they started with.
That's what they started with.
Shit.
No. The Silmarillion.
It's tough to build something big
from
that.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying the Silmarillion is nothing, but essentially it's not even a complete backstory of Lord of the Rings, because in the book, I think in the Silmarillion, they talk. Okay, no. Here's the thing. They talk about, you know who Gandalf is, you know who Saruman is.
Yes.
And and in the Hobbit movies, I can't remember if he's in the books, I think he is in the Hobbit book, Radagast the Brown. Well, in the Silmarillion, if I remember correctly, I might not, maybe not, they mention, technically Gandalf, Saruman, and Radagast are quote-unquote angels in this world. Our equivalent of angels, essentially. But they don't act the same because it's a different universe, whatever. They mention two other individuals on the same level. I think there was like the Blue Twins who went off into the Far East, but you never hear from them again. Stuff like that in the Silmarillion. Just these half-thoughts and notes from...
That he never developed.
Because he died. Yeah. It's not that he didn't want to,
he found success with what he had.
Yeah, and he was like,
was he going to go back to him?
I don't know. But he died, and the Silmarillion is compiled of all of these notes, lore, any scrap they could find to cobble together the universe, and that's what Rings of Power is based off of. Which, here's the thing. That's not a good idea.
Well, you better get somebody talented in there.
Yeah, they didn't.
Apparently not.
Yeah, apparently not.
I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know what the fuck they're doing. All I know is it's boring as hell. And here's the thing. Here's the problem.
Yeah.
When I heard they paid like $250 million for the rights to the Silmarillion, number one.
Or the rights to the name.
Or the rights to the name. Whatever. Whatever the hell they paid for. All right. I'm out of hot water, so. Anyway, so they paid $250 million, give or take, for the name of the Silmarillion or some parts to it or whatever, however these people have to cobble up their fucking copyrights. I don't know. It's not my jurisdiction. So they paid $250 million for a piece of property. Number one, if you pay $250 million for anything and you do not create the most spectacular piece of fiction on the planet, you have wasted your money and you're going to flop hard. And that's kind of what because here's the thing, $250 million, Rings of Power alone should have been the greatest thing since the first early seasons of Game of Thrones. For that price tag. They had no choice but to make the greatest TV show related to Lord of the Rings on the planet. But they didn't. Some people like it, and some people don't. But that's the problem.
You keep losing me, and I'm just like, okay.
That's exactly what the problem is. It should have been like Game of Thrones, where everybody and their grandma is going, oh, you need to watch it. This is not a joke, but it isn't like that.
No, it isn't.
So, automatically, they're going to lose their money.
Yes.
And number two, like I said, the Silmarillion is a bunch of half-hearted notes from a man who had been dead for decades, I guess, since they wrote that, since they cobbled that book together.
I think so.
I'm not entirely sure what the timeline on that is, but I think he was already dead when they made the Silmarillion, or he was on his deathbed, and they just went through his notebooks, and they basically went through Tolkien's trash can. Yeah, they went through Tolkien's trash can, cobbled together things that made sense.
I hope they don't do that with Stephen King.
I hope not. Oh, no, they're going to.
Oh, there's enough of his stuff that gets published anyway.
Oh, I know, because he writes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I think like 15 years ago they would have done it with J.K. Rowling, but not today. She's already been eaten by the very same horde that she created, so...
They definitely would do it. They would.
Maybe.
I mean, she could sneeze on a tissue and throw it away, and they'd try to find a way to make money off of it.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess. But that's what the Silmarillion is. They paid a huge price for something that's not even complete. That's the thing that got me. Was you paid this enormous price tag for something that's not even a complete story. It's just a bunch of vaguely connected lore of the Lord of the Rings universe that really doesn't have
It's definitely a decision made by somebody that doesn't understand story.
Clearly doesn't understand
I'm not saying
what the
that
fuck
you
is
shouldn't
going
have
on.
bought it.
No.
I just think that's an awful high price.
It is a very high
price. And who exactly was your competition to buy it?
That's actually a good question. Like,
I mean, we're talking about Amazon here.
Yeah.
Who, own a quarter of the planet.
Yeah, basically.
So, exactly...
Why such a high price tag?
When you made the offer,
mm-hmm.
who did you have competition with?
Yeah, like, was this a bidding war behind closed doors? What happened?
Did Musk want the original manuscript to wipe his ass with that he was willing to pay? And then, he was willing to pay $250 million.
And then Bezos comes in and he's like, motherfucker!
No.
Or whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, why such a high price tag?
Talked them down.
I don't know. Did anyone talk them down, or they just come out of the gate?
I don't know. I don't know.
I just thought. But here's the thing: it doesn't matter to begin with. It doesn't matter at the end of it because I don't like Lord. I'm not saying we're the end all be all for the fan base. You and I are not.
No.
But that's the thing. You kept telling me for months that Game of Thrones, in its heyday, you would not shut up about it. Like, you were, I remember the night, I remember the night you saw the Red Wedding. You were physically shocked to your core. I remember that night. You were bereft robbed of your words, and you were pale and shaking, like you had seen something. You had seen something that you probably weren't meant to see. That's how shaken you were.
What I'm saying is, there's an element to people that rarely finds its way onto the page.
And it did. That night. Uh-huh. But Rings of Power isn't doing that to anyone.
I don't think they could.
For the price tag they paid, it just wasn't worth it.
I don't think.
And now they're stuck with something that they, for one reason or another,
lipstick on a pig. Yeah,
essentially. It's like they're stuck with something that they can't really do anything with. And what they have done with it, it's not. I mean, they're losing to fucking House of Dragon, which is just puff. It's fluff for Game of Thrones. We didn't have to have House of Dragon.
No.
That's the thing. House of Dragon wasn't a story that needed to be told, but they did it anyway. And it's essentially.
Just people are.
Yeah, it's like they asked George R. Martin, "Oh, hey, you got any like Targaryen backstory book shit that we could use?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, here's
it's like all the different NCISs."
Oh God, don't even get me started. It's like, does every fucking city have to have its own NCIS or CSI or whatever?
NCSI, Sugarton, South Carolina. Yeah.
I'd watch that. Just see how Bubba got ate by that gator.
Yep.
And how his sister covered it up or whatever. I'd watch that one. Just because of all the crazy shit that will happen on some of those shows, it's like, oh, okay.
That's basically what it is. Whatever. I mean, you enjoy the format.
And you just do it to death.
You want to see the difference.
That's fine. That's fine.
Accents.
I respect it.
This one's in Boston.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah, this one's on the ocean in the Navy because we had to have that at some point. High tide or whatever. I get that, but
and that's what they've done with House of Dragon.
Yeah, and here's the thing: House of Dragon, even though the time skips are just making me lose my fucking gourd, I'd rather watch House of Dragon than Rings of Power.
I don't think Rings of Power has the.
It doesn't have anything.
The fan base is different.
True, the fan base is different, but even they don't really care for that show either.
I mean,
not from what I've read and seen on Reddit.
Okay, how many different? I don't know.
I'm not calling Rings of Power
cosplay. How popular is each one in cosplay? More people want to dress up like Gandalf and the Elf Witch.
Oh, Galadriel
from
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
And then in House of Dragon,
it's like. Well, I mean, Game of Thrones. People will dress up as Jon Snow.
Jon Snow.
And maybe Eddard. I don't know if anyone will willingly dress up as Joffrey, but I'm sure they exist. The Lannisters.
Yeah.
No, I get it. It's a newer property. It's not like Lord of the Rings where it's been around for potentially 100 years or almost 100 years at this point, give or take.
Right.
But. Actually, it might be coming up on its 100-year anniversary. I'm not 100% sure. But that's the thing, is even though House of Dragon is a fluff piece that didn't have to be made, but they made it anyway, and the time skips are make me lose my damn patience, I'm still more engaged with House of Dragon and whatever the fuck is happening.
Whoever is running the show on Rings of Power, they need to be fired. I don't know what they're doing.
No, they need to be fired from their job.
Man, are you trying to be unique because you think you should be?
I don't know. It's like, let's
start at the end of the story and work our way back. Okay, there's a way you do that.
Yeah, it's like, guys, you're don't do this. You're not Memento.
That's what happened to
I didn't even like Memento. Guy Pearce was not the person for that movie, but whatever. My own personal gripes with Memento. Yeah. I appreciated it for what it was, but he was not the right pick in my opinion. But anyway. No, okay, so, I mean, here's the thing. I'll give you an example. What I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There is a guy on YouTube, I cannot remember the channel name, I think it's called Hello There or something like that, and I like this guy. He, one of my favorite YouTube watches are video essays, just because I can put them in my head and do my little clickety-clack and practicing. Right. I like video essays because it sounds like someone's explaining something. I learn things about media and whatever else they're talking about. I like them. Those are some of my favorite content. So this guy, he mostly does video essays. In the past, he's talked about Avatar: The Last Airbender. He had like this entire hour-long video of just the breakdown of the mental condition of Azula. Just her alone.
All right.
And I loved every second of it because I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Oh, this is a pretty good opinion. And he had to have a separate channel for Rings of Power in case of copyright bots, which inevitably did happen. And I distinctly remember the final video the most recent video he did, as of this recording, talking about Rings of Power, because I think Rings of Power wrapped up its first season or whatever the fuck it is.
Hopefully.
And you know what he described it as?
What?
In the title of the video, it was like something Rings of Power season finale autopsy. Do you know how fucked up you done did when your fans, as they critique and discuss your season finale and or your entire season of a show as an autopsy?
Saying it dead.
Yeah, it's not a discussion. It's not a debate. It's DOA, and they're picking it apart in the morgue.
Didn't you hear what I say? I say he dead.
He dead. I'm not saying this guy is most respected expert on Tolkien, but the fact that so many people...
Is he like a bomb thrower?
No.
Doesn't sound...
No,
somebody who
not.
does... Somebody,
no, he's not. That's the other thing.
There are bomb throwers, and a lot of bomb throwers and provocateurs who are paid to do that. By the way,
yes.
As you see it on daytime television every day in this country, Monday through Friday in North America.
Where they just throw shit
They're bomb throwers
and
provocateurs, and they are paid to say stuff.
He's not a bomb thrower.
Really?
That's the thing that got me. I'm not saying he's never had a controversial opinion in his life.
Sure.
But he always addresses it as, this is my opinion, this is what I took from it.
He doesn't sound like he's trying to start a fight.
No, he's not an asshole.
Yeah.
Or he's not that type of asshole. I don't know. I've never met the guy.
Who knows?
So the fact that he described his analysis of the Rings of Power season 1, if they make more, as an autopsy is very, very telling. As someone who cracked at like episode 2.
There's something, I
was like, I'm fucking done. Fuck you. Same thing with She-Hulk at episode 2. I'm like, I'm not mad that She-Hulk is the way she is. I'm just saying it could have been written better.
Oh, man. That's an understatement.
Yeah,
I think the actress is doing phenomenal.
Oh, no, she's great.
But the script
sucks.
Fucking wood chipper bad.
There is so much bad. They could have written it so much more fluidly. I don't give a shit. It's like, I feel pandered to. As a woman, I feel pandered to. I'm like...
You go, gorilla. I mean, it's like,
what? What the fuck?
What the hell, man?
It's like every challenge, it's also the same thing with Rings of Power. It's the same thing with every single... Captain Marvel, every single piece of fiction where the woman is the main character. It's like, she is an unstoppable force of nature. No challenge that is placed before her stays more than 5 seconds. Is beloved by all, and anyone who disagrees with her is either her political enemy, always political, by the way. It's kind of funny how that keeps happening. Or is a straight white dude, or is a woman with quote-unquote internalized misogyny, which is a term that I wish would go get pulled out into a cornfield and executed.
Wait a minute. Are they saying that because she's difficult about certain things that she is internalizing her misogyny?
Internalizing hatred for the self because of various reasons.
And they're terming that as...
internalized misogyny.
Which...
is a term that needs to be taken out and executed in a cornfield. Because they still throw that shit around. And I'm like, guys, I am a woman who I legitimately am in this quote-unquote girl boss gaslight bad bitch, because I'm a personal trainer and I whoop dudes' ass, plural, dudes apostrophe S, asses.
And they pay you to do it.
And they pay me to do that. Okay. So I am literally living the dream that is prescribed by these people, and I'm saying, hey, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop pandering to me. Okay? It doesn't make me feel good when, the only person that has issues with me are people who don't know any better, and I know more than them. That doesn't make me feel strong. It makes me feel like, I don't know, I'm being placated for the sake of just making me happy and to go away.
Why can't I see this person as a human being?
Yeah, why can't I see this person as a human being? I can see him as an asshole, but I can still see them as a human being at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know? It's why I don't cuss out my boss every time I get up onto this mic here. Her heart is in the right place. Mm-hmm. And I understand that. She is still a human being with flaws, as we all are. We all are, excuse me.
All are.
As we all are. Yep. But at the end of the day, she's a person, too. She's allowed to have complex feelings, just as I'm allowed to have complex feelings and emotions, just like you're allowed to have complex feelings and emotions. True. And to just sidestep that for the sake of lazy writing does not engage me. This is why I have a tendency to go for, like, mindfuck stuff, like Jacob's Ladder and the Lighthouse and shit like that makes me think.
Right.
Don't tell me the answers. Give me time to figure it out.
Right.
Don't spell it out for me. It's why I still watch Samurai Jack. They don't have to have a third side character going, the technique he's using is the ancient technique of the Kakamo, and he's gonna split that mountain in half. Ain't no one gotta fucking do that. Because it's called good writing and good setup. To have some third asshole that's not even in the fight.
Well, the problem is
explaining everything, unless it's stuff like complex stuff like poker.
They've allowed themselves to dismiss any criticism as somebody else's ignorance.
That's exactly what's happened. No.
You don't get this because you're blank.
Yeah.
Or you're not blank enough.
It's like, this started with that Ghostbusters movie.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't like that movie, again, because I feel pandered to in the wrong type of way. I don't mind a little pandering.
I would have directed it different.
I definitely would have directed it different. I had no issues with anybody. The woman who was the replacement for Egon Spangler was my favorite.
They should have let her go.
They should have just let her go.
They let somebody else go, and it wasn't terrible.
No,
but it just overwhelmed you like a big wave.
I know. Like, I didn't mind.
The lady that played Egon definitely should have been let out of the box.
Yeah, they should have let her out of the box because she did fine in The Spy Who Dumped Me.
Taken over and run that movie.
Yeah, she should have ran that movie, and I would have loved it.
She's a tremendous talent.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know why she's not getting more work.
Exactly. Like, she was so fantastic in The Spy Who Dumped Me. Like, she's 85% of the reason why I still watch that movie.
Such a scene stealer.
Yeah, exactly. Even oh my god, the scene where she meets the character's name is not Dana Scully, but that's Dana Scully. She loses her fucking mind because apparently when she was growing up, that was her role model.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. When that actress was growing up, there was like a picture that was circulated around the time that movie came out of the replacement for Egon Spangler. I cannot remember her name, and I apologize for that, legitimately. There was a picture of her dressed as Dana Scully when she was like 8 for Halloween.
Oh, my God.
And she met her in real life and just gushed. And I could feel the genuineness of that scene because not only is she acting really well, it's a genuine gush. She's meeting her real life hero.
Yeah.
Maybe not for the first time, but, still.
Actor.
Respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can respect that. Mm-hmm.
Idol.
Mm-hmm.
Actor idol.
So, but the problem is what happened with the original, with that Ghostbusters, with that Ghostbusters remake is... It's not a good movie, in my opinion. I think you kind of liked it for what it is, which is okay.
I didn't have a problem with an all-female cast.
But that's the thing. What they did was they said, "Oh, you hate it because it's got women in it. Not you specifically, just to everybody.
People who didn't
completely disregarding the people who said the story is weak, the practical effects, or the special effects look like a joke. This one person can't act. That other person can't act. They just completely negated all of these complaints and lodged them all into this huge mass of, you hate the movie because it has the women in the lead roles, don't you? And they just lumped all of the problems with the movie.
And now that's how they a lot of them let themselves off the hook.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, my movie's not bad. You just hate it because you're misogynist.
Put out a subpar product.
Yeah.
And this is what you're blaming it on.
Yeah, and then they just completely subverted that by saying, you, the list. Yeah, exactly.
The people who put that movie together, I mean, I don't know who they are.
Guys, you could have done better. This didn't have to be this way.
Has any of them, and I'm just throwing this out there, I don't know. Sure. Has any of them won an award for anything since?
Not to my knowledge.
Are they, nobody, I don't remember hearing saying, this person's this, this person directed,
some Academy Award winning
like
thing or whatever. Okay. Right. Yeah, it's not like some Oscar winner got trapped into some kind of shitty movie by accident or by contract reasons. No. None of you have done anything except for Miss Egon Spangler for the most part.
Yeah.
None of you guys have done anything that worthwhile since then. But that's the problem, is Hollywood noticed. Because, what is it, that philosophy that was introduced to the producers? Sometimes you can make more money with a flop than you can with a hit.
Absolutely.
So what they've done, and they've done it a lot, Disney is very gung-ho on this, where they will have a half-hearted idea of a movie, be it good, be it bad, and cast someone who, for one reason or another, is not the first thought you think of when you hear a Disney princess's name because they're remaking all the Golden Age movies. I will not talk about the most recent one they've done, Pinocchio and The Little Mermaid, for this reason. But they're basically taking all this stuff of, you hate this movie because the actor is slightly less melanated than you care for, or slightly more melanated than you care for, and not, the story sucks, it looks like trash. Right. But they're just wrapping it up in this whole thing of, you hate women, you hate this race of people,
to me,
you hate this concept.
That disrespects
the viewer.
The viewer and the whatever thing, whatever group you're being accused of not being a fan of. You're
basically using this as an excuse to dissent any sort of criticism to your trash.
And that's why if there's no consequences for making a bomb,
then they'll make a bomb.
Yeah,
exactly, because it's the path of least resistance. But the problem with that thought process is, and this is why you can't trust critics anymore.
No, you can't.
I mean, in the past, with like Roger and Ebert, I have seen many people do the whole thing of, if Roger and Ebert says it's bad, it's actually really good, and they're just so hoity-toity in their heads are so far up their own asses, they can't see, it's valid.
That's possible.
Yeah, which is possible, and is true in many cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they gave a scathing review of Event Horizon. I still enjoyed it for what it was, even though it was probably the best Hellraiser sequel on the planet without actually being a Hellraiser sequel. That's my opinion. Event Horizon is canon in the Hellraiser universe. I don't care what Clive Barker says. But you can't even do that anymore. Hell, even people on YouTube, for God's sake. That guy had to start a separate channel to covertly talk shit about Rings of Power. Why? Because if Amazon got pissed off that he was telling people bad things about the show, they could very easily copyright that second channel, but not affect his own channel. You see how much work people have to do just to express their own opinions? That is going to come to a head sooner or later. Sooner or later, something is going to pop. And everyone's going to go, we're not going to see this. We're not going to talk about it. And it's just going to be dead on arrival.
There are no consequences to a bomb. So you're going to keep making them.
And people eventually are just going to stop.
You're going to stop consuming your product.
Yeah, because you will allow them to express their opinion. You won't take any criticism.
Because you've been able to explain it all away.
With some legitimate /
you are literally
reason,
you are
whatever.
You are literally creating the trap door that you're getting ready to fall through.
Yeah, it's also why I don't know. I don't want to bring Black Panther into this. I liked Black Panther. It was essentially a remake of Lion King, which is essentially a remake of Hamlet. Whatever. These are just universal stories that just happen to happen. That just is. I'm not mad at that thing. I'm not mad when people, quote unquote, steal from Shakespeare, because Shakespeare stole from people.
Shakespeare was the biggest thief.
Yeah.
He was the most successcip literary thief of all time.
Yeah.
And that's just what you do.
You
just update old stories in your style.
Yeah. That's just it.
That's just
it. These universal concepts of
archetypes,
truth, justice, brotherhood, loyalty.
I mean, Star
that
Wars.
Movie, hell, the best movie I have seen in the past 5 years is Rise, Revolt, Rebellion, which is a fucking Indian Bollywood movie. It's not Bollywood. It's like an adjacent. They do, but it's not Bollywood. It's like a slight adjacent, which is the same thing, except the language is different. I'm not an expert on Bollywood or the various subcategories of it, but it's still a Bollywood movie that was not meant for us as Northern Americans.
Not based on our culture.
It's 3 hours long, and I was engaged with every second of it, except for like the first 10 minutes where they've got to do all the credits and all the disclaimers that no animals were hurt in making the production. Believe me, I know those animals are fake, but thank you for clarifying that. I do appreciate that. So, that's the best movie I've seen in the past 5 years.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
And it's beautiful. It's shot really well.
It's like a Marvel movie but without the costume.
Yeah, and they're just like some dudes.
Yeah.
They're just, it's like, oh God, yes, I want to talk about Triple R. The whole plot is, this little girl, it's like, it starts out there, it's India is still in the throes of the East Indian Trade Company, so they're still under the thumb of the British rule, and it starts off, this English governor and his wife are like fucking around in the bumfuck nowhere India, somewhere in the north, I imagine. They're just at this village, and it starts off, the wife, she's getting some kind of henna tattoo from this little girl, which admittedly looks very nice, I'm not gonna lie. So what happens is, this little girl, she's like singing this song that she's been taught because she's, this tribal girl and they have their own customs and rituals. She's getting this henna tattoo from this child. She's fine. The little girl is just singing along, doing her art thing, on this woman's hand, because that's what henna does. The rest of the villagers are all kneeling and sitting, and some of them look uncomfortable, like petrified, because as adults, they understand where they are in terms of the current social hierarchical pecking order.
Right, the ruling class.
The ruling class is here, and we have to give them whatever they want, or they will kill us, type of thing.
Right.
So what ends up happening is the little girl, she finishes her masterpiece, I suppose. And the governess, the wife of the villain of the story, she gets up and says to her husband, like, hey, I like this. This is very nice. And they kind of give like a knowing glance at each other. And in a very quick succession of events, somebody tosses coins, they don't even hand the coins to this girl's mom. They just toss it at her at the dirt in front of her, where she's kneeling and hoping her child is going to be okay. And she picks up the coins, and it's a very wordless transaction. She thinks that they paid the mother for the work that the daughter did for the governess.
Right.
Except as soon as she picks those coins up and thinking that this is payment for the work that her daughter did, they straight straight up grab and snatch that little girl and put her into the automobile. And it is an actual automobile because for some reason they have roads. I don't know. So, in dawning horror, the mother and a couple of the villagers realized she picked up the payment for the daughter. She was not paid for her daughter's work. She was paid for her daughter.
Right.
And she runs after them, trying to catch up to their car. She throws herself in front of the vehicle. She is begging and pleading to return her daughter. She's showing them the coins, like, no, I do not accept this. Please take your money. Give me my daughter back. And one of the guards in the oh god, I forget the term. Basically, in the motley crew, that's there, the governor's crew. He goes over and he just takes out a gun and aims it at her head. And he's gonna shoot this woman in the back of the head. And the governor steps out of the car and he's like, "Hey, don't shoot her. Don't shoot her." And he is speaking in English and everyone else is not. They're speaking in their Telu, I believe, is their native tongue. And he goes, "That bullet was made in an English factory.
Oh yeah.
And has traveled many miles by boat, by train, by land to make it here. This bullet costs 1 shilling," or something like that. "And I will not have you waste it here." So basically the soldier, in valid dismay, picks up some fucking stick and bashes the mother's head in with it. The governor, without even saying it, the people that he rules over, he doesn't consider them worth it to waste a bullet on. To him, their lives are worth less than a single bullet made by the English, by his people.
Right.
That's how he views his subjects as governor.
That was quite a hook.
That was a hook. So, cut to later. So the little girl is being held captive, and cut to one of the two protagonists who has admittedly one of the best introductory scenes I've ever seen in my life, where he is just some police officer working for, he just works for the government, so he's like a government soldier, police officer, or something like that. And there is a massive riot trying to overtake this one lone police station out in the middle of the fucking desert, or wherever the hell it is. And they're calling in reinforcements. Reinforcements are 4 hours away or something like that. And they don't get involved. They're shaking the barbed wire fences. It's it's almost like this, I want to say 250-foot square block that's completely surrounded on all sides by hundreds and hundreds of people protesting against the police. And someone just throws a rock through their window, and the commander points at that person somehow through the crowd and says, "Bring me this man who has destroyed government property. Here comes protagonist number 1, whose name I forget, and I feel very sad that I forget his name, but he is hot. Oh my god, that man looks good. He
nice beard.
Lovely beard, lovely mustache. He's just beautiful man. He just, like a badass, is like, okay, and he just goes out there and drags that rock thrower into the square and beats the shit out of 50% of the people there because it's an Indian movie. So physics don't matter. That's what I like about indie movies is they're like, oh, this is
how.
That's
what I said. It's like a Marvel movie.
It's because they understand
the costume.
Because they understand it's a movie, and a movie doesn't have to be like reality. So they allow their imaginations to go, and they tell their story how they want to tell their story.
Right.
And then after that sequence, that admittedly awesome sequence, protagonist number 2. the governor is told that the tribe that they basically snatched that kid up from called upon their ancient protector to go and get their girl. And his introductory sequence has him fighting a tiger. And it is beautiful, too. He is also a very beautiful man.
It's very well shot.
But I like the first character better. It is just fantastic. And it just goes off the fucking rails from there. These two individuals, they're trying to find each other. Like, the main character number 1 is trying to track down main character number 2 because they believe he's a threat who will, snatch the child. And the tribal protector is going to go take back their kid or their village's kid or whatever. He's the hero, and they inadvertently become best friends, and then they find out, oh, we're actually enemies on opposing sides, except secretly we're not because he is a double agent, and this person over here is amazing and is oh my god, it's like the best movie I've seen in the past 5 years.
It's a good movie.
Oh Jesus, I love that movie. It is 100% worth it. You've got to see this movie.
I mean,
I think it is on Netflix. It's just so well done.
Any missing piece is not really missing piece. It's just a cultural.
Yeah, it's a cultural thing.
It's a cultural thing.
Uh-huh.
But it's very well made. It's very well shot.
Yeah, there was only 2 things that made my brain kind of pop back into reality. One moment was, there was like a romantic subplot with the tribal protector that really didn't go anywhere. Although it did lead into a really nice dance sequence, but it didn't really go anywhere.
Right.
That was the only time where I'm like, wait, did you just... Okay, there's no payoff there. Okay, well, fine, whatever. And the second time it happened, it was later in the movie, and I think it was the former police, or the police officer, the main character. He finds a fully working bow and arrow, and that, like, there's this set piece where they're in the forest, and all of a sudden there's like fire everywhere, and he's got fire arrows, and I'm looking at him going, wait, is this an allegory to Shiva? Because he kind of looks like Shiva from what I've seen, and then they just kill everyone. And I'm like, yes! Kill all the people!
That's Shiva.
And I'm like, yep, that's Shiva, and then it just went immediately back into the action.
Yep.
So,
That's a good movie.
Oh my god, it's a good movie. Because they don't fuck with it.
No.
Be it for cultural reasons, be it for story reasons, be it for...
well, they incorporated it into the story.
Oh, they incorporated it in the story, but that's the thing. Nothing...
I mean,
it didn't take me out of it like Western media can.
Yeah. Like
She-Hulk has, or Rings of Power has, where I just kind of just snap out of the escapism and go, what the fuck are you people doing?
Yeah.
At no point during Rise, Revolt, Rebellion do I go, what the fuck are you people doing?
Right.
Because, number one, I acknowledged, okay, this is not my culture. They tell their stories different than we do. I can acknowledge that. The only time where I was just like, what are you doing, was the romantic subplot that went nowhere. Because it went nowhere.
I don't think, and I think another thing was,
the dancing is good, the fighting is good, everyone is beautiful.
They didn't agree with the occupation, and they didn't agree with the oppression.
No, they did not.
But did they, in other words, I don't know, did they call these people who oppressed them bad people?
Sometimes, yes. Yes.
I don't know. Some of these...
But that's also
some of these story part emphasis, they.
Well, obviously, it's not going to be pro-English occupation because it's fucking India. They didn't want that anyway. Yeah, that's the premise.
Yeah.
But they still made attempts to go, this side is flawed just as much as the other side is flawed. Now, mind you, the scale was a little bit... The scale was heavier in that, okay, the English oppressing us are worse than the rebellion side, but the rebellion side still fuck up too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like in my opinion, again, not my culture, but they didn't try to dress up one side as completely flawless. This is the way. This is the truth.
This is all good,
and the other side is evil. All evil. Yes. Yeah. Which might have been why that romantic subplot existed in the first place, to give a glimmer that, hey, the other side is not 100% bad. There's still like the small percentage that are people who are worth being people.
Well, if you don't give, that's what people can relate to. That's
because it's harder.
You can't relate to somebody being perfect. Totally,
you cannot relate to someone being 100% perfect.
Not and drive the story.
And drive the story, yes. Which
I mean, look at the Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Okay. The Dark Lord,
Sauron. Yeah.
Completely 100% evil.
Yes.
But that's not that he was the reason behind what was driving that story. They were trying to take the ring back.
Yeah, they were trying to destroy the ring to hopefully destroy him, or at least whatever corporeal form he had at the time.
They didn't let him dominate the story.
No, because he's the 100% evil bad guy who we only see shadows and just glimmers.
And you see the Bilbo character having. Not he's
Bilbo
not,
or Frodo.
Frodo.
Yeah, Frodo.
He's not perfect either.
No, he wrestles with
the ring
as much as anyone has, if not more. Because for some reason, hobbits are vastly different from human men. But whatever. I'm not sure what the I'm not sure.
They're not driven by power.
Yeah, they're not
because they have none.
And plus, hobbits, as portrayed in Lord of the Rings, they're a simple folk. They're farmers. They like to smoke weed, apparently, drink beer. They like to party, have fun. And that's just what they do. They're basically just a bunch of fucking farmers. They probably export the majority of Middle Earth's food because that's just what they do. They're not interested, to my knowledge, they're not interested in lording over an entire domain.
That was another thing that hurt Rings of Power.
How so?
I thought the Hobbit village was...
The Harfoots?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. I don't think they spent enough time on that.
I agree.
Because that was the...
Because
that was the glue.
That was the glue that held everything together.
Held in the Hobbit, in
the Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings,
and in the Hobbit.
The Hobbit. That was what held everything.
Because think about it. You have Sauron and all his bullshit with the orcs. They're trying to vie for power. You have the world of men who, well, you and I are human. At least I think so.
Correct.
Autism kind of blurs that line a little bit. So, we understand human greed and consumption, so they're trying to vie for power just because of who they are. The elves, I'm not 100% if they vie for power or if they're just kind of in this mode of, we are eternal and everlasting and such needs are above us. We already have what we have and the rest of you can fuck off because we're going to outlive you anyway.
Right.
And then you have the dwarves who just want to mine and get drunk, and I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Look.
I just want to work hard, get rich, and get drunk.
Yeah, work hard, get rich, get drunk. That's kind of it. Also, go fight some puny elf bitches, occasionally. So that's the dwarves.
Sure.
And then you had the hobbits, who were just kind of a big. I don't want to call it a neutral ground, but they don't do anything besides farm.
Oh, they are community.
It's a community.
But it was interesting how
they're just farmers, craftsmen, brewers, smokers of weed, I guess. Because Gandalf sure as hell likes them.
Covet each other's stuff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the only time you see any sort of, at least to our knowledge, the only time you see any sort of strife happening in the Shire is when Bilbo comes back from the Misty Mountain and says, I'm not dead. Give me my shit back.
Right.
And then his relatives who thought they had all of his shit are like,
and he was really worried about the way the dwarves handled his...
And he was very worried about how the dwarves handled their own end of the business with the dragon madness.
Well, no, I'm talking about when they came and ate dinner at his house.
Yeah, Gandalf probably should have given him some more context.
So they were into stuff.
Yeah, they were into stuff. Yeah. So there you go. I don't know. It's just this. I don't like Western media anymore. It's Although apparently the new Top Gun movie is still good because I still see it played at certain theaters around town. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to pop in there one of those days and see it. I read something that
said it was Tom Cruise's most successual movie.
And
good. He's been in a
ton of movies.
So
I have to believe that Top Gun Maverick is good, even though I've never seen it because I have this huge distrust of Western media.
Yeah, and you can't just dismiss it. Oh,
I don't dismiss it.
It has to be. No. I mean,
it has to be good.
It has to be good.
One of my
story. I don't care what it isn't that he and I share a similar reflection in the bathroom mirror.
Or whatever.
What I'm saying is that story...
A good movie is a good... A good story is a good story.
A good story is a good story.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
One of my clients is... he is a former U.S. Navy helicopter pilot / fighter pilot. Mostly helicopter, I guess.
Yeah.
And he told me how good Top Gun Maverick was, because he would know.
Right.
Because according to him, and I believe him, because why the fuck would he lie? I don't know why this man would lie to me.
Right.
So, he told me, the story, he said what had happened was there was the academy, there was like the flying, the Ace Pilot Academy in the original Top Gun. That actually existed.
Yes, it does.
Except what had happened was after the first Top Gun, the academy of these ace fighter pilots went, holy shit, that was cool. Let's do that. And ever since, apparently, Top Gun was a bigger paradigm shift than we realized. It was a bigger Sentinel event than we gave it credit for, because it completely revamped how that Naval Air Force fighter pilot school operated.
Really?
And it literally taught, it's like life imitates art imitates life, where they took inspiration from the real life fighter pilot school that that movie had, made the movie, made it awesome and spectacular, and so the fighter pilot school that was the inspiration became inspired and became just a Top Gun school. You want to know how to fly like Maverick from Top Gun, you come here, and that's all they did for decades and decades and decades. So when Top Gun Maverick came out, everything you see in that movie is shot for shot what they do, because the movie changed how they did things to the point where Top Gun Maverick is more accurate to real life than the first one was at the time.
Cool.
And I'm like, holy shit. Because I'm not in that.
And who doesn't enjoy jets taking off of aircraft carriers?
Yeah, exactly. I did see a clip of it.
That's badass. I don't care what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. I did find
a clip. Fishing for sharks.
Yeah, I know. I did see a clip of the beginning of the movie, and I'm very, very happy they just got Highway to the Danger Zone out of the way. Like initially.
Oh, they started with that?
They started with...
Probably a good idea.
The Kenny Loggins song.
Because if not, people are going to be waiting the whole
fucking movie.
Yeah. Waiting for it.
So, there you go.
Get it out of the way.
Yeah, just get it out of the way. So, there you go. There you are.
Doy.
Alright, you got anything?
No, I'm good.
Alright, I'm good. I petered out.
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm getting there.
Good. I'm just glad the tea helped.
I like the tea.
Good. I like the green tea. I'm probably going to be ordering more of that stuff, assuming it doesn't run out for... it probably won't. I don't know. There's only a finite amount of it, so...
Sure.
I gotta make sure. Alright. Let's see, is there anything else? Oh, just for future reference, no... I have not seen any of the Daredevil shit in She-Hulk because I refuse.
Oh...
They finally got Charlie Cox onto the show. He looks like a fucking idiot, and I know they did a bad job with him because several people who I've told, hey, I know you're watching the show and I know you kind of sort of like it way, way, way more than I do. Just tell me when Daredevil shows up and give me a synopsis of what happens. They're telling me to not watch it. Mm. They're like, no, it ain't worth it. And I trust these people. I'm like, oh, so it's so bad I can't even enjoy the parts that I want to watch anyway.
Like, there's no hook for you.
There's no hook for me. It's like, oh, Charlie Cox is there. Oh, and he's gone. Oh, okay. And then they didn't. And then
I'm not hearing good things.
Yeah, I'm not hearing good things.
I want to hear good things.
And you know what the fucked up part is?
That's what pisses me off.
That's what pisses me off. You know what the fucked up thing is?
What?
I have not met this man. I have not met the actor Charlie Cox. I think he's very attractive. He's probably the best Matt Murdock I have ever seen, kicking the shit out of Ben Affleck's interpretation. Granted, it was like the early 2000s and everyone was trying to be fucking edgy because some people were still living in the 90s. I get it.
Sure.
I respect that. But here's the thing. I distinctly remember finding some kind of interview with him talking to somebody. And he was talking about during the production of Daredevil, he and some of the writers actually got some of the comic books out. They were like trying to recreate certain shots from the comics, some of the more interesting storylines, you know, with Fisk and Bullseye in the final season and stuff, so on and so forth.
Sure.
And it got to the point where, much like Henry Cavill in The Witcher, Charlie Cox became such a big fan of Daredevil that he would be like, no, Matt wouldn't do that. Doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Henry Cavill in The Witcher. He was very explicit in saying, I will only do this if you allow me some creative control and make it more accurate to the games and the books. And that's how they still have it. Henry Cavill is because he quotes from the books directly at times. And he quotes from the games directly at times because he is very invested in making that character work. And he does. Mm-hmm. And by him, I mean mostly him and Yennefer. She is awesome in that show, but that's kind of it for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love the Witcher video games, but I cannot get into the show to save my life. Yes, the songs are good. Yes, Yennefer is good. Yes, Henry Cavill is good. I wish he had a better wig on because he does not look right with yellow eyes and that mop of hair, but whatever. It's the character. I'm not going to yank it too bad. So, but Charlie Cox is on the same level, roughly, where to make it as accurate to the character, he worked out at a gym. He took martial arts classes. He actually put forth an effort to make himself look a certain way and act a certain way. So he's dedicated to making this character work. And he does. I know, because I have all 3 seasons of Daredevil. It's one of my comfort shows, oddly enough. And then to have him, who has enough of respect as an actor to give the best shot he can possibly give to the fan base, which has earned him much respect, right. To have him drug back out in some black and gold in the middle of New York where anybody with eyesight, oddly enough, can see him in the dark and shoot him, have him drug back into some half-assed attempt to garner some more views for a show that isn't worth saving.
Hmm. You noticed they didn't try to trade up to a bigger
No.
A bigger title.
No, they didn't. Because they knew if they mentioned his name, if they mentioned Charlie Cox was returning as Matt Murdock, they knew they would get butts in seats.
What about Luke Cage? I like Luke
Cage.
Fuck
him, I guess.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like, me too. I'm like, what about Jessica Jones? Fuck her, I guess. I liked Jessica Jones, even though I initially watched it because of David Tennant. But it's legitimately good. I didn't care for Iron Fist.
Wasn't the Punisher in that whole bit?
Punisher,
little genre there?
Punisher was in Daredevil season 2, and then he got his own thing, which I guess didn't go nowhere.
And Iron Fist.
And then Iron Fist, which was just a fucking joke. And same thing with the Defenders. I don't know what the fuck happened with those two. Honestly and truly. I distinctly remember that Iron Fist, the criticism against Iron Fist made no sense. They were like, a white guy can't be Iron Fist. Iron Fist is already a white guy. What the fuck are you talking
already a
about?
White guy.
Yeah, it's like, no, we're not. This isn't. No, we're not taking away a role from someone who. It's not like the character was Asian and then they casted a white guy in the. No, Iron Fist was already a white dude anyway.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you people talking about anyway? So it just.
We're doing a movie about the life of Michael Jordan. We've hired to star as Michael Jordan, Bobby Lee from Mad TV.
Exactly.
It's
like what the fuck is happening?
What? Okay.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
Right.
What the hell?
What the hell?
Yeah, it's like oh god, you want to make something even worse. That special on Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Okay, you know how okay, imagine if in the role of Mike Tyson they casted Rick Moranis. Exactly. It's like what did you do?
Who would do that?
Yeah, who would do that? Why would you do that? How did you do that? You know? So I can't imagine the situation that actor.
I've heard that too. I heard that people have roughed up Daredevil and She-Hulk.
Oh yeah, because it's just like this is a waste. And I cannot imagine the headspace that Charlie Cox is in, who is that level of, I want to do the best job that I can, stay true to this character, because I know that fan base is going to eat me alive if I don't.
Yeah,
especially nowadays. And he is made to perform trash. I can't imagine the headspace he's in right now. Is he thinking, oh God, are they gonna kill me? Or, oh God, that was shit, and I hope I never have to do it again. Thank God that I'm not the target.
Interesting how the term, there's going to be a new position of the term sellout.
Oh.
You were such a good character in this show. Why would you go play this schlocky?
Mm-hmm. I have to assume...
How dare you let us down?
Yeah, how dare you let us down? Here's the thing. I'm not putting anything on Charlie Cox as a person, number one, because I can separate the actor from the character. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And two, I have to assume that Disney wrangled him with some kind of airtight contract. Like, they pulled some form out of a filing cabinet for when they canned Daredevil Season 4, and they went, oh, you still have X number of hours left to be Matt Murdock, and you're going to fulfill them, or we're going to sue you. I have to imagine that was the case. Otherwise, I don't think he would have done it.
Or a truckload of money.
Or a truckload of money. Those are the only two options. They paid him stupid well to forget his quote-unquote morals. Again, I don't know. I've never met the guy. I can only go off of what he said. Or they got him into some kind of contract and he's probably just biting his tongue, trying not to speak out of line, lest his career and life be destroyed. Which also pisses me off. Again, with the whole censorship thing of, oh, you can't criticize this because all the criticisms are going to get wrapped up in this bullshit argument. It's like, because if anyone gives any sort of dissent, their livelihoods are just gone.
Pretty much.
And
that's where we are.
That's where we are. That's why I appreciate how underground we are at this point in time. And it's also why I appreciate, hey, look, so far, if the market works right, if Jeff works right, we have the secret to infinite money.
Yeah, sooner or later, Jeff's going to bite the dust.
Yeah, sooner or later, Jeff's going to bite the dust.
He's going to be reborn, and we're going to ride that one.
We're going to ride that one. And that's okay.
It's okay.
Because it's cyclical.
Yep.
Life is cyclical.
It is. And
I'm okay with that. So,
cool.
I'm not watching any more She-Hulk. Anything, I am done. I just wanted to if I look back on it at any point, I don't want to be there when the train derails and crashes, but maybe several months, if not years down the line, I'll watch like one retrospective on the incident report after the crash, so to speak.
Sure.
And that's where I'm going to leave it. Because they let me down by dragging Charlie back into this bullshit. Man. Why they gotta do this to Matt Murdock? Why they have to make trash? Why is trash the path of least resistance?
It'd be nice if it wasn't.
Exactly, but here we are anyway.
Here we are.
So, all right. Well, that's it, folks. I was your host, Bel-E.
And I was your co-host, Mr. Scratch.
And we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Bye.